A British filmmaker told the UFO community that President Trump had a UFO disclosure speech written and ready. The date was confirmed, July 8th. But now that man who made this claim is saying publicly that he was likely used as a tool to spread disinformation through this community. And we're also covering flights being halted in Berlin after a luminous flying object was spotted near a military installation, and new SETI research shows that space weather may have been masking alien radio signals for years. Hey ufologers, I'm Cristina Gomez and welcome back to UFO News Updates. In late July, UK filmmaker and UFO researcher Mark Christopher Lee claimed a Washington insider had confirmed that President Trump had a formal UFO disclosure speech written and ready to deliver. The date given was July 8, 2026, chosen specifically because it marks the 79th anniversary of the Roswell press release. And that was the moment in 1947 when the U.S. Army Air Force initially confirmed recovering a crashed object near Roswell, New Mexico, before quickly walking it back and calling it a weather balloon. And Mark Christopher Lee just recently gave an interview with UFOs around the world to admit that the information that he shared with the public was false.
I'm going to read your confession, but I don't know. Yeah. You didn't have to do this, but fair play to you for coming clean, by the way.
Thanks.
I've been completely misled by disinformation in the UFO disclosure saga. My Washington insider source, who fed me details about Trump's July the 8th speech and the May the 1st press conference, was likely a plant designed to manipulate the community. You put was likely, so you're not 100% yet, are you?
No, not 100%.
Now, that claim about Trump's speech was covered by Newsweek, the Daily Mail, and others, and it arrived at a point when UAP anticipation was already elevated, following Obama's viral comment about aliens are real, Laura Trump, the daughter-in-law, referencing stories of a queued-up speech on her show, and reports that Trump had ordered the Pentagon to release UAP files. Newsweek confirmed they could find no evidence of a planned speech and received no on-the-record response from the White House. Lee says he had two sources, both of whom he describes as connected to Skinwalker Ranch. His primary source has gone silent and is not returning his calls or his emails, and during that interview that I just spoke about, UFOs around the world, Robert Bigelow was suggested as one of the insiders, the aerospace entrepreneur and lifelong UAP investor with well-documented access to Washington and a history of funding government UAP research programs. Lee didn't deny it.
I'm scared. This person is powerful, big organization, links direct to the president who's at war at the moment. I'm just a little guy from Hertfordshire.
To be clear, no source has been confirmed by name. What Lee has confirmed is that he was likely used. He believes the information he received was designed to be spread and to build a false expectation of disclosure and then direct this community's attention toward a manufactured narrative. But the ego does that. It pushes people to say, hey, look at me. Look at this exclusive information I have from a source. How many times have we seen that happen in the UFO community? Too many times to count. But here's the thing. When disinformation enters this field, it makes the work of credible witnesses, researchers, and even the members of Congress conducting actual oversight even harder. It gives ammunition to those who want to dismiss the entire subject, and that is almost certainly the function that it serves. On top of that, if there's nothing to this topic, if UFOs aren't real, like the government has claimed for decades, why put in the effort in planting disinformation agents all over the place? Now, while the story is a reminder of what this community still has to navigate through, let's move on to something happening right now over European skies, because this part is a much bigger pattern that we've seen over the last few months. On Wednesday evening, March 11th, flights at Berlin Brandenburg Airport in Germany were halted for nearly 30 minutes after an air traffic control spotted what was described as a luminous flying object near a German armed forces helicopter hangar. The airport suspended departures and arrivals shortly before 7 p.m., and then police conducted a search on the surrounding area and could not detect a drone or any similar flying objects. An airport spokesperson told German newspaper Tagesspiegel that the suspicion was ultimately not substantiated. Haven't we heard that a lot recently? But in case you're new, this is not an isolated incident. Airports have been shut down in Denmark, England, Germany, Belgium, and even in El Paso, Texas in the last 6 months because of said drones, even though none have been photographed, shot down, or captured. In October, the German cabinet passed a law authorizing police to shoot down unidentified drones in cases of acute threat or serious harm. And guess what? They haven't shot any objects down since that law was passed, even though they have reported a lot of strange sightings over the last few months. Now, from European airspace to the search for signals across the cosmos, there is more coming up, so stay with me. The SETI Institute, the Search for ET Life, has just published new findings in the Astrophysical Journal, and the conclusion is really worth paying attention to, and it's actually very interesting. Space weather may have been obscuring potential alien radio signals for years. If a civilization is transmitting from a planet orbiting another star, solar activity in that system can scatter an otherwise clean signal across too many frequencies to detect. The search that we've been running were simply not designed to catch that in particular. So that effect is strongest around M-dwarf stars, the most common stars in the Milky Way and the top candidates for hosting habitable planets. SETI co-author Gracie Brown put it plainly that we need to design searches matched to what actually arrives at Earth, not just what may have been sent. 65 years of silence in this search may not have been silence at all. And on top of that, AI is now changing how this search operates at a fundamental level. Last November, the Breakthrough Listen initiative developed a system that processes telescope data more than 600 times faster than before, with a 7% improvement in detection accuracy. It could identify signal types that current methods miss entirely. Seth Shostak, senior advisor at the SETI Institute, recently said he would not be surprised if first contact arrived as AI to AI communication, arguing that any civilization advanced enough to reach us has almost certainly moved past biological intelligence. What we may be searching for is not a biological alien. It might be a machine. And SETI has also expanded beyond our galaxy entirely, scanning more than 2,888 galaxies for signs of advanced technology. The same AI-driven approach is showing up in even civilian UAP research closer to home. Chris Rakowski, one of Canada's most recognized UFO researchers, pointed to the Galileo project run by Dr. Avi Loeb. Take a listen to what he said on CTV News.
Also, that there are some institutions who are actually tracking objects in the sky. There's a Galileo project you may have heard of that has about 1 million objects that it's tracked now, and they're actually training AI to distinguish between clouds and planes and everything else in between, to look for the ones that are a little anomalous. So AI is going to be a very good tool for sifting through all this data that we're going to be getting.
That data-first standard, large-scale sensor networks, machine learning, pattern recognition is becoming a new baseline for how anomalous aerial data gets studied. It doesn't rely on anonymous sources. It doesn't rely on insiders. It relies on data. And right now, that standard is exactly what this field needs most. Do you think AI could eventually help researchers and the public separate real data from manufactured narratives in this space? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'm Cristina Gomez, and that's it for today. I will see you again next time for another UFO news update. Be safe, and remember, keep your eyes on the skies. enjoyed today's show, hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Hit the notification bell as I do daily UFO news and updates. Fresh UAP stories, government disclosures, and breaking developments land here every single day.